welcome to the show. I appreciate you tuning in for another brand new review. So, what's in store for you here tonight? Folks, I told you I was going to get back to some movies that I have been putting off for a little bit, and tonight we are jumping right into one of those. Tonight, folks, I am talking the very Final Destination coded The Monkey. Let's not waste any time though. Let's jump right on into things. If you haven't seen the trailer for The Monkey yet, this tells the story of twin brothers who discover a drum beating monkey toy, but don't call it a toy, left by their father that may be tied to a number of bizarre deaths happening around them. 25 years later, they seek to end it once and for all when they find out that the monkey has returned. And there it is, folks. That is The Monkey. Now, this is the follow-up to Osgood Perkins' fantastic film that came out back in 2024, Longlegs. This one here was not an original story, whereas Longlegs was of his own creation. The Monkey here is adapted from a short story written by Stephen King that a lot of folks got to read in the compilation Skeleton Crew, which is where a lot of us got to read a lot of Stephen King short story like The Mist, like The Raft, all these other great stories that have been adapted over the years. This one is a bit more straightforward though. You know, we start off getting to see the twin brothers the twin brothers' father, Petey, played by Adam Scott, for all my Severance fans out there. And it took me a second to recognize him as well too, because he was rocking a mustache. And I was like, that is Adam Scott. But y'all, this introduction scene to the monkey and what's gonna befall all these characters that come across it in the movie was ridiculous. But y'all, this is one film to where I actually think the gore itself, while it is still a lot and it's very, very much like over the top, I didn't mind it as much because it was played very much as a joke. And I've talked about on this show before how I don't do so well these days with extreme gore. A lot of times when we're seeing over the top violence, it's usually much more serious, like minded. Like the tone of the film is far more of a straight nature. And in this, everything is very humorous. Everything is played very lighthearted. With this, we have Theo James playing dual roles here of brothers Hal and Bill. Now, their younger self is played by Christian Convery, who you might know as playing Oliver or Kid Omni-Man in this season of Invincible over on Prime Video. And I loved seeing the evolution of it because Christian Convery actually gets a decent chunk of this film to play these twin brother roles. Like usually, I think what we get in a lot of films like this is that we're only going to get a little bit of time with like our lead character or lead characters, whatever you want to say. We're only going to get a short time with them because we're trying to get to where the meat of the story actually happens. But showing these brothers in their younger age and everything they've gone through with their father leaving and living with their single mother and all of this like just terrible world and terrible people around them brings a lot more to the crux of the problem that these brothers are going to go through, 25 years later in modern times. Perkins does such a great job here setting up what these brothers are like at a young age. And then as we see them mature, see them at their older age, showing that a lot of those traits are still very, very much there. Theo James really is the person who's carrying this film, honestly. This is still very much Bill and Hal's story. Or Hal and Bill's stories. Hal and Bill are very, very different. Bill doesn't really ever hold anything back. He says exactly what's on his mind. He's crass, he's rude, he's brash, he's an asshole for sure, but he puts it all on the table. Whereas Hal is a lot more reserved and tries very much to hide a lot of what he's feeling inside, what he's really thinking, all of this from anybody that's around him, whether it's his mother, whether it is Bill, whether it's Petey Jr., his ex-wife, it doesn't matter who it is. He's keeping a lot of this hidden behind the scenes. And so again, Theo James just shines here in these roles, and he's got to, because the main draw of this film, if you have not watched the trailer yet, is all of these Final Destination-esque kind of kills that are happening throughout the film. And I know that's what everybody has really been saying about it, and I don't mean that as an insult or to downplay that it is still an enjoyable film, but that's really what's happening in this case, is that from the very start of the movie up until the very end, all these different characters are being set up into these elaborate Rube Goldberg situations to where there's going to be some kind of, not trap, because that would be a Saw movie, but something's going to happen that's going to end with their untimely death in a very Final Destination kind of way. The big thing that changes that narrative up, though, is that in Final Destination, it was all about Death's design. Death has a plan. You, and you are all dying, but it's going to go in this particular order. And depending on what you do, we skip and go next. Here in The Monkey, that's not really the way it works out here, because the idea is that the monkey kills whoever it ultimately wants to kill. Whoever is stupid enough to wind that key on the back of the monkey is putting literally everybody else in the world into danger. Or so that's what we're supposed to believe. Obviously, this film focuses very much on Hal and Bill's family. And a lot of the deaths that happen in this film are relatives of Hal and Bill. That's what we're seeing throughout the entire film. There are a lot of other people who get killed, but all of them have some kind of involvement or relation to Hal and Bill. And so again, the monkey is very much focused just on these two. Now, from that, I suppose that I felt I just wasn't given enough information for it. I don't need to know the origins of this monkey, the backstory or anything like that. But this monkey very clearly is transfixed on the Shelburne family and bringing misfortune and woe to them. But why them? Why not anybody else? If it's willing to kill all these other people that are out there, why not just go for somebody random and not somebody who does have some kind of involvement here for the brothers? I know I'm marking that as a bit of a negative, and some of y'all are gonna like hit me back with, well, that is the point of the story here. The point of it is that this monkey specifically wants them. And I get that entirely, but unfortunately, I don't feel that that was portrayed as well as it could have been on screen. I just don't feel that that information was really communicated in the best of ways. Now, the kills that do happen, they are bloody, they are brutal, they are violent, and you've seen some of the ones that we've gotten in the Final Destination series as it's continually gone on and on and on. We got a new Final Destination Bloodlines, coming out here in just a few months now, and I'm sure we're going to get just as many crazy kills in that one as well, too. But again, this is very much hard RRR in the most realistic way possible, to where even though there is a lot of blood and gore, they still try to play everything except for that one bee death. Y'all know the one I'm talking about, or wasp death? Wasp death. Yeah, the one death by wasps or hornets, whatever they were, that was probably the most over the top out of all the ones that we had a chance to actually go and see. Now, amidst all of that, Hal is trying to reconnect with his son, Petey Jr., which he ultimately abandoned because he feared that one day the monkey would return and would put his son at risk. So 25 years later, Hal has very much ignored the relationship with his own son, Petey Jr., which leaves the two of them estranged. And as he's facing that his ex-wife's new husband is looking to adopt his son and ultimately cut Hal completely out of their life, that explains why Petey is along for the ride and has to bear witness to all of these horrors that he's going to see over the next few days. I loved seeing the relationship, like where it could go between Petey Jr. and Hal, seeing a hopeful reconciliation between Hal and Bill as well, too. But I think the problem in the case of Bill, who is the meaner, bullier brother here, Bill very clearly has some issues going on with him. He's dealing with a lot of issues from their dad walking out, and that's very clearly made him into the person that he's going to be. And it feels like there's just no chance at all to present Bill in this better light and the chance to rehabilitate him, make him this better person ultimately. And Hal's not a good person. And so both these brothers are just bad people ultimately when you really do look at it. Like, yeah, Hal's the one that got picked on a lot by his brother and in school, and you know, is not great at his job or with his ex-wife and everything, but he's still an asshole. And Bill's a bigger asshole at that too. And usually you want somebody that you can get behind, somebody that you ultimately want to root for. And I really don't think you can root for either of the brothers here in this film. So it kind of ends up being you're rooting for Petey, but Petey himself doesn't really play as active active of as a role in this as you would probably want, especially when you're wanting like a protagonist that you can really get behind. So I think that's the big misfortune here of the Monkey, is that there's just nobody to really put your stock into as you're going through this film. Osgood Perkins giving us another good film here in the course of 2 years. And again, we have a third one coming up this fall, the film Keeper, which also features Tatiana Maslany again, who played the mom here in The Monkey, and who most of y'all probably know from Orphan Black or She-Hulk. She's going to be returning here and playing the lead in this film Keeper, which got a nice little, with the post-credit scene here for The Monkey. So if you haven't seen it yet, stick around to the end, because that's what this post-credit scene is showing off this film here. But this comes out October later this year, and I have to assume that based on what we've seen here thus far, this will be another big winner here for Neon and for Osgood Perkins. So want to hear what y'all thought about it here in the chat. Let me know, do you think I'm off base here at all, and that the story was actually better than I'm giving it credit for? You know, we get the living embodiment of the Pale Rider, which was a pretty cool visual to see, honestly. But I want to know in the comment section what y'all thought about The Monkey. So let me know. Let's have a conversation about it. And of course, hit that subscribe button, because I got more great reviews coming your way here. And the best way to stay on top of it is to get subscribed to my link tree at linktr.ee/tscarymovie. If you get subscribed, that's going to give you access to the YouTube page for the video versions of the show, your favorite podcasting platforms, the audio-only versions of the show, to my Letterboxd page for written reviews and movie rankings throughout the year, to my TikTok page for full episodes, movie news, and movie premieres, to my Twitch page for my horror gaming, and my Fangoria shop page where you can enjoy a 20% discount off anything in the Fangoria shop. Take advantage of that, folks. Hit that subscribe button so I can bring you more great content that you want to get scared to. But that's going to do it for us here tonight. I appreciate you all tuning in so much. You can also let me know in the comment section what you are wanting me to check out soon as well, too. Hitting classics like The Howling 2, and we're jumping back into Leprechaun. We're going to jump back into Puppet Master soon, the Scream series. Got so much coming out for you. Don't want y'all to miss it. But that's it tonight. My name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.